Hello party people, my name is Darby, welcome to my channel. This is where I talk about books, art, and stuff that's going on in my life. I finished Bram Stoker's Dracula, and here's everything I learned about this classic in Gothic literature. This book is not ancient. I thought this was written in the maybe 1700s, but it was actually written in 1897. So this makes this younger than cameras, than typewriters, than Texas statehood. I think of this as Gothic literature, but it was marketed as a mystery story. And reading it, it had the fast-paced, thrilling nature of reading an Agatha Christie novel, but with old-timey language and a lot more blood-sucking. Dracula is a count. He does live in Transylvania. He does have a castle. And it's in this castle where he is the weirdest Airbnb host for Jonathan Harker. At the start of this book, Jonathan Harker is not a vampire slayer, not a clergyman, not a priest, has nothing to do with the church. He is a real estate lawyer, and he is visiting Dracula because Dracula needs to finish signing some sales contracts because he's buying property in London. Mr. Harker thought he was getting a fun, free international trip, and instead it ruined his life. Dracula does not have servants in his castle, but for some reason really wants Jonathan Harker to think he does. He disguises himself as a driver in order to pick up Jonathan from the village. He waits until Jonathan is out of a room so that he can secretly go in and make his bed, wash his dishes, or prepare a meal. And apparently, Count Dracula, pretty good chef. Mr. Harker has only positive things to say about the food he has in the castle. He's especially fond of the paprika chicken. Dracula is overpowered. He is too OP. He has the strength of 20 men. He can shapeshift into animals, including a bat or a dog. He can control wolves and rats. He can hypnotize and entrance people. He can fly. He has telepathy. He's hyper intelligent. He taught himself English, and back in the day he was an alchemist. And he is not even allergic to sunlight. If he comes in contact with sunlight, he does not burst into flame, he does not turn into dust. He becomes a little bit weaker during the daytime for the same reason that most people are a little bit weaker at nighttime. He gets a little EP. A very important question I wanted to answer when I read this book was, is Count Dracula a babe? And he is not. At least not in the first part of the book. When Jonathan Harker meets him, he is withered, he is corpse-like, he is pale, he has no color, he is desaturated, except for his lips, which are bright red. I wonder why that is. His nails are too long and talon-like, and he has hairy palms. So because he is old and hideous, he's like a 2, but he's also tall and rich. So using some girl math, that makes him like a 6. And after he starts feeding, his youth is restored, his skin gets better, his hair gets better, he becomes wickedly enticing, and that's like solid 9-10 territory. A very basic thing I can say about this book is it's kind of science versus the supernatural. It was written during a time when myths and folk superstitions were getting debunked at an earth-shattering rate. There's a lot of emphasis on the gadgets and cutting-edge medical science that 5 middle-class professionals and a random rich dude used to defeat Count Dracula. Seriously, it's like a real estate lawyer, a school teacher, a cowboy from Texas, 2 doctors, and then a rich lord. And the leader of this motley crew is Van Helsing. Van Helsing, middle-aged, Dutch. First name, Abraham. He has many doctorate degrees. He's a doctor of medicine, of public health, and of literature. One of the most dramatic scenes in the book is Van Helsing performing an emergency blood transfusion for a vampire victim. Throughout this part of the book, up to 3 people donate blood. I need to go Neil deGrasse Tyson mode for just a second, because what are the chances that all 4 of these people have compatible blood types? The book was written 4 years before the discovery of blood types, so it gets a begrudging pass. There are 3 female vampires that live in the castle, but they are never called the brides of Dracula anywhere in the book. They're never given a name, and their relationship to Dracula is never spelled out. In fact, I think there's only one scene where the 3 lady vampires and Dracula interact, and that's just so Dracula can save Jonathan Harker from being eaten by them. I think that's everything I learned when I read Dracula. It's not the first vampire book, but it's one of the best. It's funnier than I thought it would be, it's scarier than I thought it would be, and if your Halloween isn't complete without Victorian fiction, it's something you should pick up. If you made it this far, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, bye-bye.